Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. Today we're going to continue the series of choose your own adventure rows. What we're going to do is 30 minutes, but I'm going to give you a different pace guide depending on whether you're a beginner rower or whether you want to sit on the bottom end of the pace, the middle end of the pace, or if you want to go for a tough row. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the first 4 minutes at 20 strokes a minute, and then we're going to do the next 1 minute at 24 strokes a minute. We're going to repeat that 6 times to make up our 30 minutes. Now as for pace, if you're a beginner rower, well, I like you to do the 20 strokes per minute at 5 out of 10 effort level, because I'm going to assume that you don't have a 2K training pace yet. And then when you go up to the 24 strokes a minute, I just want you to go up to 24 and see naturally how your pace increases. It should go up by around about 3 or 4 seconds. Now, if you want to sit on the bottom end of a training pace guide, then I want you to do the 20 strokes a minute at 2K plus 18, but I want you to speed up to round about 2K plus 14 when it comes to the 24 strokes per minute. Then if you want to sit on the middle area of this pace guide, I want you to do the 20 strokes a minute at 2K plus 18 again, but I want your 24 strokes a minute to go up to round about 2K plus 10. And then finally, if you want to really go for this hard, I want you to do the 20 strokes a minute at 2K plus 18, but those 24 strokes a minute, I want you to go round about 2K plus 6. Which is gonna be quite tough by the time you get through this 30 minutes, okay? So when I say that's gonna be the top end of the pace guide, trust me, it will be. Okay, so there's something for everyone here, and just pick what you wanna do and try and stay there, okay? Don't mix around here. Don't think I'll start off on the bottom and I'll end up at the top and I'll go through the middle and then whatever, because that's just gonna be a blancmange of a training pace, okay? Right, so let's get into a 4-minute warm-up as always. Now we start off by setting up our drag factor or resistance on the machine. You can see I'm really low down right now because I want to work on my technique a little bit. If you don't have drag factor like on a Concept 2 and it's just a resistance setting, then just set it at a point where you really feel that you're connecting with the machine, but it doesn't feel like you're rowing a hedgehog across some sandpaper, okay? Next up, go to your monitor and set it at eye height so you're not looking up and not looking down. And finally, the foot straps should cover either the bottom lace in your shoe or, no matter where you set them, they should let you be able to get to the front of the machine with your shins pointing vertically without feeling that you're having to force it there, but also not feeling like you can fly straight past it, okay? It's important to set your foot stretchers correctly. Oh, I should have taken a breath then. Right, 4-minute warm-up. I'm going to do this at 18 strokes a minute. Just follow me, and we're going to start off at a nice kind of body weight squat effort, okay? So not that much effort to start. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So all you're doing is connecting with your legs right now. So you're putting in a little bit of a push. That's what I mean by the body weight squat thing. You just want to think about pushing your feet into the machine, and then start to think about connecting your hands and the handle at the same time as you're pushing into the machine. Once you've got that timing right, just have a quick check over your body. Make sure nothing's hurting. You don't have any twinges in your knees or your shoulders or your core. As long as everything's okay, you can start to increase the effort. Just increase the amount of power that you're pushing into the machine. And if you're getting the timing right, that should mean that you are hanging off the handle and needing to just connect your arms a little bit more powerfully, but you won't be thinking about needing to pull harder with your arms because all the power is coming from your legs. Pace-wise, you should be up around about 2K plus 20, which is around about that 5 out of 10 effort that I mentioned. And then in 3 strokes time, we're going to put 1 foot on the floor. Here we go, last stroke. Let's get one of those pesky feet on the floor, carry on rowing. With just that one still strapped in, wondering why it's having to do all the work, and the other one gets a wee rest. But it helps with the timing, helps with compression, helps you to concentrate on exactly what's going on with your one leg right now. And let's change over, get that one back in the action again. Now you can compare how it felt between the two of them. And although you'll have dropped off pace compared to having two legs strapped in, are you still rowing at similar pace from a single leg point of view? That way you might be able to tell whether you've got a power imbalance. Okay, both legs in, keep your legs nice and straight and row with your back and arms. So you're just rocking over your hips. Rock, pull, push, rock. Okay, so you can rock over your hips first, then pull in your arms, then push out your arms and rock back over your hips again. Trying to keep a good posture and not just curling from your lower back. Okay, let's roll to the front of the machine with straight arms and just drive out, holding those arms nice and straight, trying to keep a forward lean facing into the front of the machine. It'd be hard to face towards the back of the machine, wouldn't it? You're rather bendy if you could. But hold those arms nice and straight as you connect your feet into the foot plate. Again, try not to round down your back at the front. And that last comment was very much for me because I caught myself in the mirror being a bit slumped. But hey, every day's a school day. Right, keep moving up and down the rail, have a quick drink, and I'll explain quickly one more time what it is we're doing today. Okay then, so today's row is a 30-minute row, but we're going to break it down into 4 minutes, then 1 minute, and do it 6 times. That 4 minutes will be at 20 strokes a minute, and that 1 minute will be at 24 strokes a minute. Beginner rowers, I want you to do that 4 minutes at 20 strokes a minute at around about 5 out of 10 effort level, and then just to increase up to 24 strokes a minute and notice how your pace increases. Should only be around about 3 or 4 seconds. Then if you're at the bottom end of the pace guide, I want you to do 20 strokes a minute at 2k plus 18, but I want you to do the 24s at around about 2k plus 14. For the middle of the pace guide, still 2k plus 18 for the 20s, but I want you to do it at 2k plus 10 for the 24s. And if you want to go for a really hard workout today, then you're going to do the 20 strokes a minute at 2k plus 18. But I want you to do the 24 strokes a minute at 2k plus 6, okay? And that's going to make it really tough, all right? So it's definitely one to hold on to, but it's only half an hour, so you can get through it nice and quick and we'll be all done, okay? So we might as well start, eh? Make sure everything's sorted. Have a quick last drink if you haven't already. Oh, give your backside a little bit of a wiggle, and then we'll get ready to go in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So 20 strokes a minute we're going to start off at. And at 2k plus 18 pace, or round about 5 out of 10 on the perceived effort scale, if that's how you're working. Now keep up, just watch me the stroke rate. And if you just follow along with the whoosh of my flywheel, or if you can see me on the YouTube videos, that should be enough to just keep your rates locked in. You should get there nicely grooved by the time we get to the end of this 4 minutes, I'd hope. Get that little speed bump. We'll give you a little burst of excitement. It means that no matter what pace guide you're on today, it's not really going to be a long, slow, bottom tier foundation workout because of the bumps. but it'll hopefully add a little bit more excitement than a normal 30 minutes at 20 strokes a minute, if nothing else. So I'll talk technique in a second, but I just want to make sure you're in the groove. I'm working a little bit on my connection at the front of the machine today. So I seem to have slipped again with this scoot of my backside, which is one of the reasons why my drag factor is set so low today. Because if I get the stroke wrong, I can see I fall right off the pace. So right now I'm holding my 2K plus 18, but if I don't get my connection right, I drop down to about 205, which is 2K plus 20. So it's a really good feedback. Okay, 3 minutes gone. Just make sure that you're getting your power out here from the push from your legs. Because not only will that help you when it comes to just thinking about your pace, but that push from your legs is what helps your stroke rate increase, so you can get a faster drive. I mean, they're both linked, pace and stroke rate, but just in case you were unsure. So it's all a push from the legs, push. And I'll talk more about that after our first 24s, which are coming up now. So, just increase your stroke rate and hit whatever pace you've picked. Those who are on just the beginner rower guide, just make sure you're only run about 3 or 4 seconds faster. Much more than that, you're risking blowing up before the row has finished. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to 20s. There you go. So that's our first one down. And hopefully gives you a good indication of how this row is going to go. Shouldn't feel too tough, even if you were on the max pace guide, but as we go through the row, your cardiac drift will make this progressively tougher. Those beginner rowers and anyone else like me who's sitting on the bottom end of the pace guide, by the end of the row you'll certainly know it's been a good solid workout. So I said about the power being about that push into the machine with your legs. But the important part is that you have to connect that power from your legs to the handle as efficiently and safely as possible. Now, safely comes from your body being in a forward lean as you push with your legs. So that helps the power just flow up through your body and avoids going via your lower back, which can cause injury. So I want you to be up on your sit bones with a good, powerful posture and a forward lean into the front of the machine to run about 1 o'clock on the clock face. And then keep those arms out in front of you, nice and relaxed before the drive, but importantly, straight. You might even want to have a bit of a external rotation of your elbows to make sure your arms are good and straight and your lats are engaged, so that when you push with the legs, that power just flows through your body, into your arms, into the handle. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Next set of 24s. Hopefully you can fall into the rhythm of 24s quite easily. But remember, we're going from 3 seconds per stroke to 2.5 seconds. So you can actually just look at your monitor and count down the time for each stroke if you get stuck. But hopefully you are kind of keeping an eye or an ear on me anyway, and that's helping. Okay, 2 strokes. There we go, back to 20s. And that's our first 10 minutes already done. Breaking these kind of rows down into smaller pieces doesn't just give the option to vary the pace and stroke rate and stuff. It also makes it go a lot quicker because you're not looking at it as a whole. It's like when you're painting the big wall in your house and you first look at it and think, oh, this will take a while. But then when you just break it down into the bit that's in front of you, paint that bit, move across, paint the next bit, move across, you don't see it as a whole. You just see what's in front of you. That's the same as this kind of a row. We're doing like a big wall, and then we're doing the detail afterwards. Then we're doing another wall, then the detail afterwards, rather than the whole house at once. Now there's an analogy I've never used before. Probably not one I'll come back to, but so we talked about posture and back. I did kind of fly over the arms thing. Now the t-shirt I'm wearing today is my zombie t-shirt. Zombie arms. And that's because as you recover into the front of the machine, I want you to have loose, relaxed arms as though you were doing a zombie impression. Okay? You don't have to growl or moan or whatever as a zombie does. But the point being that if you were to hold your hands out in front of you like a zombie, you wouldn't be tense. Chances are your wrists would probably flop as well. Don't want your wrist to flop here though. Just relaxed arms, nice and straight as you come into the front. And then as you push with your feet, you just brace against the power as it goes into the handle and you hang off it. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 24s. Now remember, to get up to 24 just takes a bit more of a push from your legs in order to increase the drive speed out from the front of the machine. And the point is, you want to have a nice flowing rhythm backwards and forwards so that your recovery complements the drive phase by going just a little bit faster too. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 20s, back down. Halfway there. It's the Bon Jovi point. So the stroke is about rhythm. It's all about flow from phase to phase. You're never really stopping, especially at the back of the stroke. So you drive with the legs, holding that forward lean for as long as possible, and then about halfway through the leg drive, you swing your body from that forward lean into a backwards 11 o'clock lean. And then you finally pull in with your arms into a nice strong finish round about sternum height or heart rate monitor height. Caveat to come on that one. But once you come to a finish, you don't hold and pause at the back. You send the handle back out again at the same pace that you pulled it in at. So, in, out, in, out. Nice rhythm. It's a flow. It's like you're dancing with a machine. And then, as the handle passes your knees, that's when you have your body in that forward lean again. And then you can finally bend your knees in order to effortlessly slide to the front of the machine again. So don't bend your knees until the handle is past them and you're in that forward lean. If you bend too early, you'll be ruining your posture and harming your power potential. And that rhythm without the pause is what you need for the flow of your stroke. Same at the front. Don't pause, just get in, drive out. In, drive out. 4, 3, 2, 1. 24s again. So think about fluid. In, out. In, out. In, drive. In, drive. There's an inevitable moment at the front of the machine where you're needing to reverse direction of your body, but just try to snap into that drive as quickly as possible so that your butt doesn't scoot away or your back doesn't prematurely go into that backward lean. Okay, 2 strokes to go. And we're back down to 20s. 10 minutes to go. Well done. I hope we're all holding it nicely together. Mid and top pace guide, folks. I'm going to assume you are quite glad here to enter single digits on the counter. Beginner rowers, if you maybe overcooked your perception of what 5 out of 10 is, you may be finding it a bit tough right now. But before backing off in that situation, just decide whether actually it's only just over 8.5 minutes to go. Can you just continue to the end at the pace that you're currently rowing at. And yeah, you might have blown your 5 out of 10, but that's not going to mean it wasn't a good workout. It just means you've made it harder than I suggested. Bearing in mind, the only reason I'm saying to keep the pace down for a beginner rower is that this may be one of the first times you've managed to row for 30 minutes straight. Might also be one of the first times that you've been rowing at 20 strokes a minute, or at 24 strokes a minute, or even might be the first time you've ever done a row actually concentrating on your stroke rate. So it's a journey of discovery for you. It's much easier to train with a defined pace, like the bottom, mid and top pace guide people today. And although I don't want you to rush into doing a 2,000 meter time trial, I'd rather you worked on your form and things first. Once you do get that 2,000 meters under your belt, that will give you your training pace. Divide the result by 4, and that will be your average time to cover 500 meters, which is how I describe pace, certainly for the Concept 2 and similar rowers. Okay, 3 strokes to go. 2, 1, second last 24s. Get that stroke rate up. Let the pace go to where you need it to be by increasing your leg drive. And like I say, as a result, the amount that you are then hanging off the handle will feel stronger. So it's not about actively pulling hard on the handle. It's about increasing that connection from the legs and the resulting force into the handle. 2 strokes to go. All right. Last set of 20s. Good job. It's definitely, from a intensity pyramid point of view, I'd put it either at the very top of bottom tier, the way I'm rowing this with the 2K plus 14 bursts, or the very bottom of the mid-tier intensity. So I'm certainly breathing heavier than I normally would on a standard 30 minutes at 20 strokes per minute. My heart rate's actually probably round about where it would be for a row like this, but then I've worked out that I add on between 5 and 10 beats per minute on these row-alongs, purely because I'm talking to you the whole time. So although my heart rate is currently 154, when I did this session a couple of days ago on my own, my heart rate was the high 140s. So it's certainly 6 or 7 clicks higher, just because of the toll it's taking talking to you, which again will be affecting my breathing. So the last thing to say, which probably should have been one of the first things, is to make sure to get your entire leg drive into the machine. Legs nice and straight, but not locked at the back. And if you do that and get the timing right of your backswing and the pull in with your arms, you should find there's no need for you to tug on the straps with your feet. Because if you do, what happens is your knees pop up and your posture collapses, both of which we don't want to do. If you want to be nice, powerful on your sit bones, hips tilted forwards, not hips rolling backwards. So that's why you don't tug on the foot straps. 3, 2, 1. Last minute. Here we go. If you are a mid or top, then how about laying everything into the machine with 30 seconds to go. I'm going to keep this down at 2k plus 14 because I need this to be on the lighter end of the workouts today. 8 strokes to go. Keep strong. Keep your posture strong. Keep the flow. Keep the faith. Oh, it's all about Bon Jovi today. 2. Last one. 1. I actually think Keep the Faith by Bon Jovi was probably one of their last really good tunes. Yeah. Well, It's My Life wasn't that bad. Sorry. Listen, it makes a change to talking about Van Halen, doesn't it? Okay, let me find my 2-minute cool down on Erg Zone. Apologies if I suddenly morph on the seat, but if I do, it's because it's taken me so long to find the number 2. Number 2. I'm so funny. Who does number 2 work for? There's a film quote. Give me that. What's that quote from? What film's that quote from? Who does number 2 work for, baby? Yeah. There goes a clue. Okay, 2-minute cool down. Sorry. We're going to do it at 18 strokes a minute again. And pretty much that body weight squat that we started off with, okay? If you want to put in a little bit more power and ease down, then that's fine. That's what I'll do. So in 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm going to start this off around about 2k plus 30 pace. And then I'm just going to ease down towards the end to make sure I'm nice and cool. Just like the fans. Hey. I'm all about the really bad 80s references now, aren't I? Although Keep the Faith was probably 1990s. Don't turn off. You need to do your cool down, don't turn off yet. Anyway, it's a good row today. Certainly, like I say, for me, although it was the top end of a bottom tier or the bottom end of a mid tier, it was exactly what I wanted for today. Didn't really fancy 30 R20. I wanted a little bit of spice, a little bit of chili dust on it, which came courtesy of those 24s. But at the same time, I don't feel I'm exhausted, which means that later this evening, I'll be okay to head back into the weights room, for today is leg day. Lots of squats and walking lunges, calf raises, and then some pull-ups just because today's workout probably took care of my upper body, but I quite like doing pull-ups just as a kind of a stability exercise for my back. Okay, 2 strokes to go. For me anyway. That's me done on the cool down. You can either carry on a cool down while you listen to me, or hop off the machine, do some stretching while you listen to me. Which reminds me, I have to make a video about stretching. I've got this whole list of videos that I need to try and make, but until that Russian oligarch starts to bankroll me instead of me having to have a day job, then I'm afraid a to-do list is a to-do list, and I kind of rather push them to the side in favor of making the actual RowAlong workouts for you. I'm kind of figuring that these are more valuable than me saying, oh, here's how to stretch. So anyway, I do hope you enjoyed another in this Choose Your Own Adventure series. Remember, this is one that you can come back to. So if you did this on the bottom end, you can come back to it next as a top end, and then go back down to bottom, then do a mid. You have to listen to me at the same time, each time, if you're going to do it as a RowAlong. But if you split it up that way, 1.5 hour workout, just, yeah. And actually, you could even do it the other way around. If you wanted to go really bonkers, you could do the 24 strokes a minute for 4 minutes, and then you could ease off and do 20 strokes a minute for 1 minute as a recovery, and then ramp back up to 24 again, if you're wanting to do this as, say, some training for a 30-minute time trial or whatever. I may, in fact, do that as a separate workout one day, but I'm just giving you a wee tip at the end. Look at that. See, if you stayed until the end, then you've got that wee tip. If you've turned off when I was talking about Bon Jovi and Keep the Faith, you'll have missed out on that. It's gold dust. Anyway, right, so I'm done. In fact, that can be the hashtag, gold dust. Because that's how narcissistic and up myself I am, is I think I'm gold. No, I don't think I'm gold dust. I just think that tip was. Anyway, so, right, I'm just talking away to myself. I really should get back in, get some lunch. Because I've not eaten since like 9 o'clock last night, so I'm a little bit on the hungry side. But working out fasted works for me, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing the 16-8 intermittent fasting thing, and then through lunch, I'll do this training session with you guys. Hey, you guys. And then I'll go have some actual lunch, put some protein in me, try and recover. And that's it. That's how my exciting days are right now. Wouldn't you just love to live in my house? Anyway, thank you so much for putting up with me. Thank you for coming along for another RowAlong. Yeah, remember, if you are going to leave a comment somewhere, then use the hashtag GoldDust, just so I know you made it this far, and I can go, oh, you obviously enjoy what I'm saying. So I got really itchy. I was away for the weekend and I got bitten by midges. That's why I keep on scratching my legs, because they're still, what, 3 days later, I'm still scratching. So anyway, enough of me. Get back to your own lives. What are you doing still watching me? Stay safe, be well. Bye-bye.